Hey everybody, this is Elias on the Truth Remains channel, and I wanted to share something. I recently got to meet and listen to Deborah Tavares and Jamie Lee speak a couple of weeks ago in Berkeley. And there was a lot of information there. There were great speakers. It was great. It was a great time. But one of the things that I found was this flyer, this laminated flyer on ELF and RF radiation health risks. So I took a photo of it and decided to do some searches and learn more about this. So this looks like it's put out by harapad.com, and it outlines some of the health risks from neurological to cellular and what they consider everyday. What was cool about this flyer is that there's some sources down here. So in looking into this, I wanted to cite the sources and kind of look and see what they had to say. But then I also wanted to do just some general searches. So what I started to do was to go on the web, and one of the websites that I went to was NCBI, Effects of Electromagnetic Fields on Organs and Tissues. And I was kind of surprised because in their article, this is one of the statements: and there is no clear evidence that the reported effect of low-intensity, amplitude-modulated RF fields poses a substantial health risk. That kind of surprised me because I'm looking at all this data, all these numbers, all these citations. They scoped the visual system, the endocrine system, as you can see, immune system, hematologic and cardiovascular systems, animal carcinogenesis, all this stuff. They even mentioned Gwen towers. And I get down to the conclusion, and it says, in sum, studies on the physiologic effects of ELF, extremely low frequency fields, have yielded little evidence that exposure to the low frequency fields from Gwen antenna in areas of most likely public access would represent a health risk. So that got me a little concerned. I thought, how is it that the NCBI would say that? And, there's some people that believe, and I'm starting to more and more, that large organizations are massaging their data or massaging their information for whatever reasons. Either they're getting paid or they're lobbyists or whatever. So I decided to go to those sources that were listed in that screenshot that I showed you, that little poster. So the first one was Science 2.0. So it discusses what are the symptoms of electromagnetic hypersensitivity. And this was kind of interesting. It was kind of generic. Well, not really generic, I shouldn't say that. It was high level. But I went down to the symptoms, which I thought was, the interesting part, because as people, we're going to see the manifestation in our body and around us. It mentions warm burning sensation in the face, feeling like a sunburnt, tingling or prickling sensation across face or other parts of body, extreme dryness of mucous membranes, such as the back of throat and eyes, swelling of mucous membranes, problems with concentration, loss of memory, and dizziness, a feeling of impending influenza that never quite breaks out, headaches, nausea, teeth and jaw pains, aches and pains of muscles and joints, and cardiac palpitations. Now, I have had a couple of bouts of the burning, warming sensation to my face, arms, neck, and legs, and tingling, prickling sensation. And very unexplained. At first I thought it was a food allergy, but I'm starting to wonder if I was crossing, two beams of EMFs that were intersecting. And believe it or not, that sounds crazy, but that's a thing. And I just got caught in the crossfires. It came on set for it lasted a total about an hour and a half. A very intense 30 to 45 minutes though. Very uncomfortable. But anyway, so that kind of stuff got me thinking, instead of being food or allergic reaction, it's probably maybe this. I'm not sure. But let's continue. I went on to one of the other resources that they had. Oh wait, this is something else from the NCBI. And this was from that flyer. So, same website, different article. Uh, from Hala Nibley, she was one of the authors. And in her abstract, she states that the mammalian brain is protected by the blood-brain barrier, which prevents harmful substances from reaching the brain tissue. There is evidence that exposure to electromagnetic fields at a non-thermal levels disrupts this barrier. So this is a lead kind of confirming and going opposite to the first citation that I showed you. The other source that I went to on that flyer led me here to this author, Hyla Cass, who's a MD and contributor, Are Cell Phones and Wi-Fi Hazardous to Your Health? Now, this was a really big article. I recommend reading it, but I'm just going to give you a couple of highlights. She quoted an author of an audiobook that I listened to a couple of years ago by Anne Louise Gittleman. The book is called Zapped. And what she states here is, you may not be able to see electropollution, but your body responds to it as though it were a cloud of toxic chemicals, which is very profound. Just because we can't see it or measure it linearly doesn't mean it's not happening. I mean, we can't see air, right? So one of the highlights from Hyla Cass's write-up was the UK's Bio-Initiative report of July 2007, updated in 2009, so that's over 11 years ago, describes hundreds of studies that link EMF exposure to Alzheimer's disease, ALS, brain fog. If you've ever felt brain foggy, like I have, that's a thing. Cardiovascular disease, miscarriage, infertility, insomnia, learning impairment, as well as anxiety and depression. Wireless technologies like cell and cordless phones produce microwaves that increase the permeability of the blood-brain barrier, leading to changes in brain chemistry. Even low-level EMFs can cause brain cells to leak. So the information is starting to get out there. In her section, Why Are EMFs So Dangerous?, she cites an article, according to the New York Times reporter B. Blake Levitt in Public Health SOS. Most living things are fantastically sensitive to vanishingly small EMF exposures. Living cells interpret such exposures as part of our normal cellular activities. Think heartbeats, brainwaves, cell division itself, etc. The problem is, man-made electromagnetic exposures aren't normal. They are artifacts with unusual intensities, signaling characteristics, pulsing patterns, and waveforms, and they can misdirect cells in a myriad of ways. Now, this is a huge topic. It's a huge topic. I'm just going to go for a couple of highlights and finish up here. She mentions further down, continuously, let's see, basically the exposure disturbs the sympathetic nervous system. This in turn elevates the body's fight and flight response, raising the stress hormone cortisol, and that leads to inflammation and a whole myriad of illnesses that we can have, from cancer, etc. Fluctuations in cortisol lead to a wide range of health concerns, ranging from belly fat and thinning skin to accelerated aging, blood sugar imbalance, cardiovascular problems, erratic sleep patterns, and mood disturbances. And it says Dr. Stephen Sinatra elaborates on this issue in a new book, Earthing. So I just wanted to share that with you. As we, cell phones, mobile devices, communication, computers, laptops, televisions. It's a great level of science that we've gone to, and we have these wonderful conveniences. But the health hazards are starting to emerge. Questions are being arisen, and people are starting to report things that medical doctors can't really explain 100%. So I just want to challenge you to consider being a little preventative, maybe a little conspiracy theorist, and using your speakerphone, not holding your phone to your head, not using the computer so much or limiting your time, looking into alternative methods, because they're rolling out 5G. We're getting those towers, and they're also starting to put 5G underground in the sewer systems, so that way it's not such an eyesore. They've already caught on to that. and knew that there was going to be public outcry. Look that up. That's kind of fascinating. All of that stuff, those waves, those frequencies that we can't see, just because we can't see them doesn't mean they're not affecting us. They're going to ebb and flow and go through us from our smart meters and Wi-Fi and now the 5G. So pay attention to your body and reduce your exposure when you can, because this isn't going to go away. It's going to get worse. It's going to amplify. Be careful of your health. Really watch things. See how your bodies respond. I read something where it talked about, going out camping for a few days or a week, and then when you come back, see how drastically different things change. I live in a suburb outside of San Francisco, and it's pretty nice out here, but there's still a lot of wiring, and the wires in our house, they conduct and all this stuff. But if we can get a baseline, go camping or something like that, and then you can see how different you feel. And it's probably not because you went on vacation, it's because we're disconnected. If you go camping in an area that doesn't have any wiring or signal crap anywhere. So I just want to put this out there. Beware of the EMFs and the extremely low frequencies. They also use extremely low frequencies to manipulate the weather. And if you doubt that, Carol on her channel Never Lose Truth, she has done video after video showing you. So the proof is out there. These frequencies can be used for a lot of different things, and even if they're not used intentionally, their byproducts can be harmful. So stay alert, pay attention, God bless, and I'll see you on the other side.